Yeah. I mean, he really did. But if you listen to everything coming out of Detroit and Dan Campbell, Johnny Morton had a ton to do with what they did throughout the week, building things schematically for each game throughout the season. And so they feel like he could step right in and be similar to what Ben Johnson was. But you're going to miss some of that creativity. You're going to miss some of that timing. I always talk about being a coordinator as an art and a science, right? The science piece of it is, what do I do during the week with the numbers, the analytics, the down and distances, the tips and the tendencies, and the art is the feel, understanding when to call the trick play, understanding when to pull the trigger on whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Those are things that Johnny Morton is going to have to get used to. So he's going to lean on that physical offensive line who has to replace a huge interior missing piece and some of those skill players on the outside to make plays for him as he gets acclimated to putting them in the right position to win.
First of all, I want to address the fact I've been to a lot of training camps, Laura. For Jeremy to have the hair in condition that he had it in that summer heat in Detroit when it's raining,
it was a
special
downpour,
performance.
right?
Yes, special performance from Jeremy Fowler's hair there.
What's he putting in that hair?
I'm not expecting a huge drop-off, frankly, with Jared Goff. He led the NFL last year in completion percentage in throws beyond the sticks last year. That means he can sling it. Amon-Ra St. Brown's 77% catch rate when he was 15 yards or more down the field. You know what that means? That's a special connection. That, to me, is not a Ben Johnson stat. That's a Jared Goff stat, or an Amon-Ra St. Brown stat, and an offensive line stat. I think replacing Frank Ragnow with Tate Ratledge, the rookie out of Georgia, is as big as anything, because you look at how dominant that offensive line was. That's why Jared Goff got all the time to throw. That's why Jared Goff got to be so comfortable and get to sling it down the field. So I'm looking at that. Remember, Dan Campbell is an offensive guy. Just because he looks like he's jacked and all that stuff, he is an offensive genius. And I think in those situations, he becomes a little bit underrated. He has built an incredible culture there. He's built an incredible staff. I like this Lions team, even without Ben Johnson.
And if there is one way to shut down this offense, it is with pass pressure on Jared Goff. Over the last 3 years, Jared Goff is the best quarterback in football by QBR when he is not pressured. But when you get pressure on him, that drops to 28th in the NFL. So if they can't stop teams from getting pressure up the middle, that could be something that slows down the offense, even with that incredible set of playmakers on the outside.
The Lions had the most efficient offense in the NFL.
I just gave the game ball to somebody else, so I feel awful right now. Yeah. No, I knew he played a heck of a game. I did not realize he was perfect. I did not know he was literally 18 for 18.
We'll see. Yeah, maybe he'll make it up, but that's okay. I've got, I'm just happy we got the win.
Do you feel like the Lions have the best offense in the NFL?
Yeah, it's not even close. When you look at their two-headed running back monster, nobody can match them. When you look at the skill position, you look at the wide receiver with St. Brown, you look at Jameson Williams, you look at Laporta, they signed Tim Patrick, and you look at the running backs with Montgomery and Gibbs, and that offensive line with Decker, Sewell, Glasgow, Penei Sewell, and Glasgow, it's not even close. It's not even Zeitler, it's not even close. Offensively, they're fourth in offensive yards per game, they're fifth in passing yards, sixth in rushing, fourth and third downs. That is the difference. When you look at teams, and when people throw, the Cowboys, when you look at the talent, just offensively, and even that, they can't touch Detroit, because Jameson Williams is a threat to hit his head on the goalpost every time. St. Brown is so reliable. You got Laporta, one of the better tight ends, and they can run it. That offensive line is massive. They move people out of the way. To me, I believe this is the best offensive football poll of the season. But the Lions, they legit, they for real.
Boom. The Detroit Lions aren't just playing football, they're rewriting the script of what an NFL offense can be. In 2024, they didn't just compete, they dominated, racking up a jaw, dropping 6,960, 2 yards of total offense and 564 points, both franchise records. They led the NFL in scoring, leaving every other team choking in their dust. This is no fluke. Folks, this is a revolution. Jared Goff, the maestro of this offensive symphony, threw for 4,629 yards and 37 touchdowns with a surgical 72.4% completion rate. And let's talk about that 1-8 for 1-8, 292-yard, 2-touchdown masterclass against Seattle, perfection on a platter. But here's the question burning in every fan's mind. Is this the best offense in the NFL, or is it all smoke and mirrors? But what makes this offense a juggernaut? It's not just one star, it's a constellation of talent. Let's break down the weapons that make Detroit's attack a nightmare for defenses. Picture this. A defense is battered, bruised, and begging for mercy. Then, out of nowhere, Jahmyr Gibbs explodes for a 70-yard touchdown run, leaving defenders grasping at air, or David Montgomery barrels through for those gritty, soul-crushing yards between the tackles. This duo isn't just good, they're historic. In 2024, Gibbs racked up 1,400 rushing yards and set a franchise record with 20 touchdowns. Montgomery, before his knee injury, was on pace for 1,000 yards himself. Together, they're the first running back teammates in NFL history to score rushing touchdowns in multiple games across multiple seasons. Defenses can't stop them, they can only hope to survive. But can this backfield keep carrying Detroit's Super Bowl dreams in 2025? While Gibbs and Montgomery bulldoze defenses, it's the passing game that's turning heads. Let's talk about the playmakers who make this offense unstoppable. Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't just a wide receiver, he's a problem. With a 77% catch rate on throws 15 yards or deeper, he's Goff's go-to guy, racking up 1,001 yards in 2024, despite a slight dip. Then there's Jameson Williams, the human highlight reel, who can hit his head on the goalpost with his blazing speed, hauling in 1,001 yards and 7 touchdowns. And don't sleep on Sam Laporta, a tight end who's rewriting the record books with 726 yards and 7 TDs in 2024. Add Tim Patrick and Khalif Raymond to the mix, and you've got a receiving core that's pure dynamite. But here's the controversy. Some say Dallas or Philly have better weapons. Are they crazy? Detroit's skill players are a cut above. Prove me wrong. These playmakers shine. But none of it works without the big men up front. Let's dive into the heart of this offense, the offensive line. Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow. These aren't just names, they're the cornerstone of Detroit's dominance. In 2024, this offensive line was a fortress, allowing a sack rate of just 5.3%, 7th in NFL, and a pressure rate of 31.9%, 13th. Sewell, a PFF-graded 91.4 monster, bullied defenders into oblivion. But 2025 brings a challenge. The loss of Frank Ragnow and Kevin Zeitler leaves 40% of the line to be replaced. Enter rookie Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany. Can they fill the void? Without this unit's dominance, Goff's QBR drops from 1st to 28th under pressure. If opponents get up the middle, this offense could stumble. The stakes are high. Lions fans, are you worried? The line sets the tone, but the brain trust calls the shots. With Ben Johnson gone, can Dan Campbell and Johnny Morton keep this offense elite? Let's find out. Dan Campbell isn't just a coach, he's a force of nature. His kick-you-in-the-teeth mentality turned a laughingstock into a powerhouse. In 2024, the Lions' 33.2 points per game led the NFL, thanks to Ben Johnson's play-calling genius. But now Johnson's gone, and Johnny Morton steps into the spotlight. Morton's no rookie. He's been scheming with Campbell all season, leaning on that massive offensive line and playmakers like Gibbs and St. Brown. Campbell, an offensive guru himself, isn't sweating it. He's built a culture where players want to fight for him, evidenced by the Lions' number 3 NFLPA locker room ranking in 2023. But can Morton master the art of play calling, knowing when to unleash Gibbs' speed or St. Brown's hands? Or will the loss of Johnson's creativity cost them? Buckle up, Lions fans, this is where it gets real. The offense is loaded, but nothing's guaranteed. Can Detroit keep the magic alive in 2025? Or will rivals expose their weaknesses? Let's talk about the challenges ahead. The Lions are a juggernaut, but even giants have weaknesses. Jared Goff is a wizard when protected number. 1 QBR when clean but under pressure. He plummets to 28th. In 2024, teams that brought heat up the middle exposed cracks in Detroit's armor. With Ragnow and Zeitler gone, can Ratledge and Mahogany hold the line? Rivals like Green Bay and Chicago are licking their chops, ready to blitz Goff into oblivion. And let's stir the pot. Some say the Cowboys or 49ers have a better offense. Blasphemy? You tell me. Drop your take in the comments. Can anyone slow this Lions attack, or are they destined for a Super Bowl run? The Lions offense is a force, but it's the culture that fuels it. Let's dive into the heart of Detroit's transformation, the Dan Campbell effect. For decades, the Lions were the NFL's punchline 0-16-inch 2008. no playoff wins in 30 years, and a culture so toxic it drove Calvin Johnson to retire at 30. Enter Dan Campbell in 2021, a man who didn't just coach, he ignited a fire. His bite a kneecap speech was mocked, but it sparked a revolution. In 2024, Detroit went 15-2, won the NFC North, and became the first team to go 8-0 on the road. Campbell's built a brotherhood. Players like Sewell, Gibbs, and St. Brown bleed for him. Ford Field isn't just a stadium, it's a fortress where opponents can't hear themselves think. This is Detroit's time, a city reborn, a team feared. But after the 2024 playoff heartbreak, can Campbell take them to the promised land in 2025? Lions fans, this is your moment. Sound off below. The Lions have risen, but the journey's not over. What's next for this team, and can they finally hoist the Lombardi Trophy? Let's wrap it up. The Detroit Lions aren't just a team, they're a movement. In 2024, they shocked the world, leading the NFL in scoring and rewriting franchise history. But the divisional round loss to Washington stung, a reminder that even giants can fall. In 2025, with Goff slinging it, Gibbs and Montgomery running wild, and Campbell's fire in their hearts, the Lions are ready to finish what they started. They open the season against Green Bay on September 7. Mark your calendars. This isn't the old Detroit, the one that crumbled. This is a team built on grit, talent, and belief. So, NFL, take notice. The Lions are coming, and they're bringing hell with them. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us, will 2025 be Detroit's year? Let's go, Lions.